This is the Sports Porch, Philadelphia, with your hosts, the Grand Schwabini, Rube, and me, your technical director. Come on, Philly, show us a little Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now. We are back. Welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Porch, all over the world here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And of course, I download the podcast right after the show. Anywhere you get your podcasts, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow us on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch or on X at Philly Porch. I'm the technical director. I'm in charge of this ship. So if it goes down, I go down with it. To my right on the screen is Rube, a lifelong Philly fan, now living in Austin, Texas. And below me is the world famous, none other than the Grand Schwabini. Say hello, boys. You're so quiet.
Well, we just have respect for those that are talking.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, we're excited to be here, man. New night of the week, new time for the show. I'm excited about it. Rube, what do you think?
We had a week off last week. I love the new time. I love the evening. I appreciate my my podcast teammates compadres for being flexible with the time and the day, and this is going to work really well. So thank you, boys, and good to be back with you.
You have a little bit more of like a
relaxed,
calm, relaxed feel to you tonight.
Yeah. Well, listen, I had a great weekend. You know, it's Father's Day. It was my birthday. Lemmer took good care of me.
Yeah.
And it's 6, not 5 Central Time, so I wasn't sliding into home with my hair on fire getting ready for the show. So I had a chance to get a glass of water, have a little bite to eat, and I'm raring. I'm ready to talk.
All right. So let's make sure everybody knows that this is our new night every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Austin time. That's what we'll call it, Austin time. We will be on talking all things Philly sports. And tonight we're going to start with page one. Page one is, of course, it's baseball season and
it's a roller coaster ride.
That's right. Now
Phillies, this is what it means. So the Phillies had won 9 in a row. And then they went on a tailspin, of which I think they lost 8 of 9 or something like that. And now they come back out of it and they won 5 of 6. So we don't really know what we're getting. Now, bottom line is we've arrived at a half decent point. We went from the best record in baseball to, oh my gosh, we're on the precipice of maybe being outside the playoff race. But now we're just two games behind the Mets because the Mets had a skid of their own. They just got swept by Tampa Bay. It's been up and down, man. What do you think, Rube?
Yeah, it's tough. As soon as you think that you have this team figured out, they do the opposite. And that has been really the MO of this team for a while. Are they a perfect team? No. Are they a flawless team? No. But they win a lot of games. And what we need to figure out is Mr. Dombrowski and Mr. Middleton, are we going to go all in and push the chips in and do what we need to get this team a championship during this window? So, yeah, I think we're good. I think we'll make the playoffs. But certainly some flaws we need to.
You know what, though? See, that's an interesting question in and of itself, right? So, is the team good enough potentially to win it all? And I would say without some additions, like a top line closer, maybe a right-handed power bat that also hits for average, maybe another setup man type reliever. Without that, I would say they are not good enough to go all the way. And so if that's the case, I don't want to get rid of Crawford and Aiden Miller and Painter, who I don't think they get rid of anyway, and Mick Abel. I don't want to get rid of these guys if this core that we're watching right now is not going to be a core that ever gets it done. Now, of course, when you start moving away from some pieces, you're still going to have a few players in there that are, part of the long haul, like, Bryce Harper, obviously, like, you're going to have,
Trey Turner.
maybe Trey Turner, Christopher Sanchez is going to be in there. I mean, you're going to have some of these pieces, right? So it's not like it's going to be a full, rebuild or anything. But that's the question. I mean, if we don't get significant pieces to get significantly better, I don't think that they're good enough to win the World Series. So what's your thoughts on that?
Totally agree. But I think this team deserves the right to go all in. It's a good core. The window is open. We don't know how long the window's open for, given free agents and Ranger and Schwarber and you don't know what you're going to get from some of the aging guys. So listen, 2 games out of first, clearly securely in a wild card spot. Let's assume this is the way we play the rest of the season. We win, anywhere between 93 to 96 games. And we all know what happens in the postseason. We can get hot and we can go win even at a wild card spot. So why not go all in now? And oh, by the way, I love the way Mick Abel's pitching. Maybe that gets us that bat or that setup man. We're not going to be able to do it without giving away some of these prospects. I say we're going to have to give a couple of them away to go all in while we got this team in place.
Right. So that begs the question. I asked a few questions to talk about the Phillies of late. And the first one regards one Alec Bohm. Do we owe Alec Bohm an apology? In the month of May, since May 1st, he's hitting 329, 372 on base percentage, 500 slugging, 7 home runs. He's basically been their best hitter, either him or Trey Turner, since the month of May started. And this was a guy that I think we were all just fed up with him and just sick of watching him play and sick of watching, like, a 6'5" guy who seems to have no power whatsoever. Now all of a sudden he's hitting some home runs. So I think we do owe Alec Bohm an apology. What say you?
What say you, technical director?
I don't know that we owe him an apology. Because baseball's a streaky sport. I mean, people get hot. If I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah,
I think very little.
No, it's not. Yeah, I try. I try to think very little. I don't really achieve that.
Right.
But I guess what I'm saying is that when it comes to performance, in baseball is a team or a sport where you need consistency on both sides, and Mark, you were making a joke yesterday that when I'm on the Philly show, I talk about Pittsburgh sports all the time because we do a Pittsburgh sports show as well. But, one of the biggest problems with the Pirates is they don't have a set lineup. So there is no consistency from management to provide the players a basis on which they can settle into something. So Alec Bohm knows his role and he's a good player. And sooner or later, he was going to hit a hot streak. And right now, he's playing hot. So I don't think we owe him an apology because when they're not playing well, they're not playing well. I disagree with the earlier stuff you guys were talking about when it comes to, what do the Phillies need to push themselves over the top? I mean, you're talking about they've got a great record. They're 43-29. They've just won 5 in a row. I mean, I don't think they need a whole lot. I just think they need things to come together at the right time. And that is the variable that nobody can really control. So they've got all the tools to finish the job. It's just, are they going to be able to maintain a position to where they're in the playoffs come the end of September? And if they're in the playoffs, can they stay hot during that time? So, I as far as
maybe
the trade deadline is concerned, yeah, can they make some moves? Absolutely. I think just about every team should make some moves. So, no, I don't think we owe Alec Bohm an apology. Rube?
Nor do I. I think it's too soon. I think you said it really well. He's going to suck again, then be good again because it is a streaky sport, unlike no other. So I think we wait till the end of the season to determine who deserves an apology. Right. I mean, listen, you talk about the Eagles. Oh, Jalen Hurts, he's a game manager. He's not throwing, he can't throw the ball. Da 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 da. All of a sudden, he's the best thing since Terry Bradshaw. So I think we got to wait and see how the season plays out. I love to see him. I'd like to see him play well. We're going to need him to play well, but
how about Brandon Marsh? By the way, he's like hitting in the 250s now. I never thought he'd get up that high. I thought he was destined for a 220 year.
You just never know in this sport, and we're only in mid-June, right? Schwarber came out hot, and usually he doesn't come out until June. Yes, I agree that if you're going to win a World Series, the timing's got to be good, and we got to swing at good pitches, and we got to pitch well and hit, for average, blah blah blah. However, I don't think when watching this bullpen and watching the inconsistency of the bats, yes, we have a good record. A lot of those wins are against sub 500 teams. However, I think we absolutely need to make a move. And oh, by the way, what does it tell the rest of your team if you don't make a move? Like, hey, we're not all in. We think what we got is good enough.
Well, I don't want a garbage move. I don't want one of these stupid moves like we bring in Rob Robertson to be like a end of the bullpen guy. Was it Robertson or Robinson?
He's great. I don't even know who you're talking about.
I'm a big fan of Robbie Robertson. God rest his soul.
I think there's two perspectives here. You say you don't want a garbage move, or Rube, your question. What does it say to the rest of the team if you stand pat? I think there's a perspective from us outside, the fans, the media, and then there's a perspective from the players' side. Does it really send a message? Do the players get a message? Let's pretend for a second that the Phillies decide we don't need to make a move. How do they address that with the team? Well, we don't know. Are they going to sit the team down at a team meeting and say, look, we're not making any moves because we think you guys are the answer. You can do it. I mean, is that going to be a negative? Is there going to be people walking out of that room like, damn it, why didn't they get somebody to take the pressure off of me? No, I don't think so.
No, but that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. I mean, Bryce Harper's going to be pissed off. Bryce Harper, he wants Mason Miller on the mound at the end of the game, not like trying to see if Ryan Kerkering can become a closer, or can Taijuan Walker close, or can Strom close. It's just we've had enough of it, man. Like let's get the good players and let's get the job done.
And I don't think we need to get a superstar either. I think we just need to get solid players who can execute consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Hard stop. I don't need Juan Soto in a Phillies uniform. I'm using that as a hyperbole.
Right.
But yeah, let's go get the right players, not the marquee players.
Okay. Next question that you brought up.
Why did it take so long to bring up Otto Kemp? Remember weeks ago I was touting this guy, the MVP of AAA.
I don't remember that.
In his first week or first 2 weeks in the major leagues, he had a 3-hit game. He had a 4-hit game. Guy is hitting 345. Guy just basically gets the job done, puts the ball in play. He's a player. What do you think?
I honestly didn't know. I'm sure, given your knowledge of the game, I have no doubt that you brought him up. I just don't remember. Or you brought it up and I kind of snickered and said, that's a funny name.
I remember you bringing him up.
He had 14 home runs in AAA and he was hitting like 350.
Yeah, what's the backstory on him? I haven't been able to see a lot of games lately, but I've seen that he's been hitting the heck out of the ball. What's he? Who would you compare him to historically or in the game today?
Well, I'm not really sure. I think it's sort of we need to sort of see it play out. I mean, like right now, I mean, he might have a double or two in there, but he's just been hitting singles. So in the minor leagues, he was hitting home runs. So I don't know if that's just something that's going to take time to adjust in the major leagues to start hitting home runs or not. So I'm not really sure there, but he just seems to me like just sort of like an overall kind of solid player. Like he just makes good contact. He doesn't, gives you a good at bat. He's not a special prospect or anything. I can't remember, but off the top of my head, I think he might have been like a 5th round pick or something.
But
That's
but
just
but Schwabini, you
yeah,
said it. But you said it. All the things that we were begging for after the Mets
right,
disposed of us last year was,
right,
hey, I don't need you to hit home runs. I need you to make contact, get on base, and make the other
right,
team earn it.
right.
Now, would you let him go? Would you let Mick Abel go to go
Well,
fill some of those holes?
well, and that's the thing. I mean, so now what their thought process is can we get him to play left field? Because in the minor leagues he plays third base. He can also, he's also a third baseman who can play first base. And he did play like 6 games or something in left field. I think as they were sort of trying to see if he could do it out there. Because right now, I mean, when you're looking at left field, I think they want to continue to platoon Kepler because he's hitting home runs. I
Yeah.
mean, he's got like 9 home runs. So, and it seems like he's getting his swing back, which is a good thing. But you know, eh, what are you going to do? I mean, like, if Schwarber's not the DH, then he's got to play left field. Um, I don't know. It's a tough thing because there's not really like a great place for him. To be honest, my biggest concern right now is Stott. I think Stott's injured again. I think
There's some,
Stott,
yeah, he's not hitting the ball.
he's not hitting the ball. And you know what sometimes just sort of drives me crazy? Like, is it just me? Or when you see a major league player who can't seem to catch up to the fastball, how come nobody ever says pick up a lighter bat?
Well,
Fasten your swing up a little bit. I mean, like what? Like he needs to have this super heavy bat that he can't seem to get around? Why? You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's not going to hit the ball as well with a bat that's has a little less weight to it. You probably get the bat around, the barrel to the ball a lot faster. I don't know. How come nobody ever thinks about that?
I have to believe that they have, and it's probably the same bat he's been hitting with when we thought he was the next coming of Manny Trio. I don't know. Uh, but he just looks bad right now. And like we talked about Bohm, there's going to be ups and downs and streaks. It's not like he's striking out every time up. Every time I look at the box score, he's lining out to somebody.
Mhm.
So I think he just needs a couple of those to drop and the confidence will be there. And then we'll never talk again about, hey, is the bat too heavy? Rube's thought. I don't know. What do you think, TD?
I refer you to my earlier comments about Alec Bohm. I mean, why does nobody ever say pick up a lighter bat? Well, I mean, when you're a hitter, you get used to a certain style. This is your approach, and he's comfortable with the bat. So, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, just because he can't get around on the fastball doesn't necessarily mean that the weight of the bat is the issue. It could be the way his stance is. It could be how he's seeing the ball. It could be, as easy as he's just not having a good year, and he's just not seeing fastballs this year.
Or maybe he's got the same injury that he had last year.
What did he
Possibly.
have? What was going on with him last year?
I don't know. It's some kind of weird injury where if he makes contact with the ball, he's fine, but if he swings and misses, it's like excruciating pain. I don't know.
Sports hernia.
I don't
That's
know.
I'm not sure. That sounds to me like maybe an excuse. I have no idea.
Mental injury. I don't know.
Yeah. His feelings are hurt, and I have no idea. So,
Well, anyway, I have offered a suggestion to improve Bryson Stott's performance. I'd like to see the frickin' hitting coach say something.
Well, I
know?
mean that's a good point, But look, when somebody's having difficulty like that, you know behind the scenes if they're putting extra work in, and all these guys do extra work. It's rare that anybody just walks away today from the game when it's over and goes home. They go down, they take extra hitting in the cage or whatever they need to do. They're talking about it. When it's this obvious to us, they're talking about it and they're working on things. And baseball, again, it's a streaky sport. Sometimes it just takes a little while. Next thing you know, he's seeing the fastballs like they're watermelon.
All right. Last question. Could the Phils have just thrown away Mick Abel in a trade if Aaron Nola didn't get hurt? So basically what I'm saying is, if Aaron Nola doesn't get hurt, we might not even know if Mick Abel has anything.
Yeah, I guess they could have, but it's not going to happen now. So
I think it will.
Or maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe it will.
I think it will. It could be the best thing ever to happen to the Phillies. A, he's winning ball games. B, he's proven to the rest of MLB that he's a big time player. So, and maybe we go get that piece we need, and we use him as trade bait. We can't hold on to all of our prospects. So It could be a blessing in disguise. By the way, what is happening with Aaron Nola? First I hear sprained ankle, then I hear stress fracture, and he's not back until middle of August. What's the latest on him?
He has a stress fracture of his rib. So he's going to be out for a while, man. He's coming back like late August, maybe like beginning of September. So, and I did see that Painter had a good outing in his last start. So, I don't know, man. Like we got to get Painter up here too, because we got to. I think before we get rid of Mick Abel, we got to just sort of like make sure a little bit on Andrew Painter. I mean, I know that Andrew Painter is the guy. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'd still like to see it before we just get rid of Mick Abel.
Abel may one day be a 3, maybe a 2, and everything they say about Painter is that he could be a 1.
But what if the Abel you're seeing right now is the Abel that that's the player in the major leagues? He's a number 1. Now he's 2-0. He doesn't have a lot of tape at the professional level.
Right, right. So players are going to adjust to him.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it depends on a lot of factors. So I don't think he's trade bait. I'm sorry. I mean, first of all, if Nola is out through August and he continues to pitch well, not necessarily at the level he's pitching at right now, but well, and every start you've got a shot to win, and he doesn't blow up. I don't, pitching is tough, man. Pitching is it's hard to have a good pitching staff, and it's obviously key to going far.
Well, and that's
you
the thing.
You never have enough pitching. That's the point. You can never have enough good pitching.
And that's the thing. I mean, the Phillies' one advantage over every other team in the league, to me anyway, is they do have the best pitching staff. No questions asked.
Starting pitching staff.
I mean, starting pitching. Yeah, I mean, starting pitching. Basically, it's 1 through 5 is very, very good.
Right.
Our 4s and 5s could be 2s and 3s on other teams.
So my point being is how many starters do you need in a playoff run? 3, maybe 4, right? So can't you get rid of can't you trade a prospect like Abel and get the bullpen solidified, or get that consistent bat, outfield big bat in the middle of the lineup? I say, hell yeah, you do it now. You don't know when did we win the last World Series? 2008? It's been 17 years. And we got a chance.
So bad for you.
Well,
that's for another show. But my point is look at the window we got right now. It's going to close here in a couple of years. And going back to the earlier statement, I think we're going to have to. If it's not Abel, we let go. Who are you going to let go, and what are you going to get?
Well, it also could be Ranger. because of the contract situation.
Yeah, but Ranger will only go to a team that's going to compete for a championship because they know he's a rent-a-player for a couple of months.
Right. And Ranger is so good right now. I mean, he's probably like the third best pitcher in baseball, I think, with his ERA among starters with enough innings or something. So
yeah,
like 2.2 or something. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a toughie. I don't think Ranger's going to get us what we need to get us over the top, because we're going to end up having to face him possibly because of the situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the important takeaway from all of this right now is that the Phillies are in a great place. I mean, you're talking about what are the final pieces of this puzzle that can, we can bank on being competitive in the playoffs and making the World Series and winning it. That's the problem. And that's not a bad problem to have. I mean, I think maybe only the Dodgers, maybe the Yankees.
Did you guys see that Ohtani pitched the other day for the first time?
Yeah, threw a ball 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, so he's pitching now.
What's his ERA?
Like 9, because he gave up 1 run in 1 inning or something. But you know what? I mean, I believe it or not, I actually think that for the other teams, not the Los Angeles Dodgers, that could be a huge win for us other teams. Like, can't you just see him getting hurt pitching? You can just see it happening, can't you?
I don't want to see him get hurt because he's so fun to watch. Yeah. But I don't. To have his focus elsewhere is not a bad thing. And the Dodgers are beat, and their starting lineup, their starting pitching is beat up right now. So I think they kind of need him.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's kind of like a flex player who's really, really good. So I have a little bit of an issue with Ohtani playing both sides of the ball that way. Playing offense and defense. Because I'm looking, it's a $700 million investment. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, think about it. So they talk about Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh hitting, and HJ chimed in and said, "Don't forget that Skeens will be in the market in 2 or 3 years." That's somebody the Phillies could pick up. He will be. They will not sign him. It will not happen.
He will be a Yankee or a Dodger.
By the way,
he'll go somewhere that pays him a lot of money, and the Phillies have money. So right, most likely a Yankee or a Dodger. But
by the way, up to the minute breaking news: Johan Rojas with the single to center, bringing in Otto Kemp to tie the game at 2-2 in the 5th inning.
Thank
Marsh
you,
is
Harry.
on third, and Trey Turner is at the plate, who had already homered today. That's 2 days in a row, a home run for Trey Turner.
Yeah, and they're not going to make the World Series. They got a lot of problems. Okay, page 2. It is almost
76ers.
Draft time, yes.
10-9-8, 76ers.
76ers.
So a question, Rube, this is really the big question, is first is, are they going to keep the pick or are they going to trade? And if they trade, are they going to trade for some veteran, probably has been star, or are they going to trade up? I've even heard there's talk about them trading up to number 2. Or are they going to trade back? What the heck do you think they're going to do? What's your call here, Rube?
I have some thoughts on this, Grand Schwabini. And here's what I'm thinking. If I'm GM for a day on draft day, I'm thinking about the team. And I've got 2, trains of thought. Number 1, the likelihood of getting anything significantly better from George or Embiid next year than we got this year, I think is highly unlikely. Maybe with George, Embiid, we don't know. So both of them are question marks. They're another year older, so on and so forth. Number 2, the Sixers have been average at drafting players, right? Maxey, McCain are hits. And if you look, I looked at the recent draft picks. Everyone else since 2020 has more or less been a miss. Paul Reed, Isaiah Joe, Charles Bassey, Philip Petruzev, Jaden Springer, Bona. We'll see what he turns into. So we don't have the best track record drafting.
Although it does go up considerably when the picks are higher usually.
Yeah, I think Springer was a 28. Let's see. Maxey was a 21, McCain was a 16. So of course.
Well, actually I take that back because they did blow the number 1 pick twice.
Many times.
With Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz.
Yeah. So, but that was a different GM. But nevertheless, right. I think, listen, if you can go get 2 or 3 picks for the number 3, and or a front court scorer to put with Maxey and McCain and this Grimes guy, I say you go do that all day long. Trade your pick and take your chances, and you've got picks for the future now to go build around. If we don't get anything significant for the top 3 pick, I say we draft. And I think we draft Trey Johnson and we don't look backwards and move on. That's Rube's thoughts on the upcoming draft.
Yeah, but isn't he a small guard and we have 2 of them already?
He's a scorer, and I don't see I am not excited about Ace Bailey. I'm not excited about this. I'm not excited about anybody after number 2, to be honest with you. So why not get someone who is young and can score?
Well, they are. That is the idea behind potentially moving up to number 2 to get the other guy from Rutgers. Dylan Harper, is that his name?
Dylan Harper. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So there's that possibility. I don't know. Like, you know what's kind of interesting, and I'm going to tease this a little bit because coming up momentarily, we're going to have our 5 current worst Philly athletes. Okay?
You want me to say that for you?
Sure, say
coming up shortly. Currently, the 5 worst athletes in Philadelphia sports, according to Rube and according to the Grand Schwabini.
That's a nice tease. I like it.
And I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. I tried really hard to have a 76er on there, man. I tried. But honestly, I couldn't. You
didn't try. You didn't try hard enough.
Look. Well,
how about the whole team? How about the whole team?
I thought about you could say Embiid because he's never available to play, but then at the same time, he's also an MVP.
Okay, let's not. We don't
want to go.
We teased it.
The point is that while the team's record was horrible, it was really horrible because of the best 3 players on the team barely playing last year.
We got to give props to Rube. But see, I'm going to Rube for all things Sixers now. He called last season from beginning to end. He did. It's all you, Rube. You're the king.
But I don't know. See, I think
no King Day.
What I would do here is
that's a different show too.
I would not make a deal just simply because I don't really have confidence that they're going to make a good deal. And I would just stick with, if you can get up to 2 to get Dylan Harper, if you think he's that much better than Ace Bailey, fine. Or I say you just stick at 3 and go with Ace Bailey. And, let's just hope that Ace Bailey is just an absolute stud. That's what I say. Okay. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I will say this: with having a number 3 pick, which is actually a pretty big deal for the NBA draft, I have probably as little excitement as I could possibly have because I have zero confidence at all that they're going to do the right thing that's going to impact the team in a positive way.
So you agree with what I'm saying, which is we're average at best at drafting, and at number 3, what could possibly go wrong at number 3? And yet everybody on the screen right now believes we're probably going to mess it up.
Well, I don't know that I would say mess it up. I think the Sixers are in an especially difficult position right now. because for the last couple years, you had the Harden experiment, you had the Paul George thing, you had the Embiid injuries. I mean, if you take those variables out of it and just go on the merits of the players that they've had, they should have gone a lot farther in the playoffs than they did, and they should have had a better year last year than they had. So they're in a position right now where it's almost they're on the precipice of it's time to blow this whole thing up. And we kind of had conversations about that at the end of this last season when it was like, look, what do you do with Embiid? He supposedly has an injury that's bone on bone. It can't be fixed. It's always going to hurt him. So how valuable is this former MVP if he can only play 1 out of every 5 games? I mean, does that add anything into the situation? So going into this draft, in order to have a situation in which a draft can significantly change things, even in the NBA, you pretty much need the number 1 pick. You need to be able to get the best player available in college ball because they, a lot of the times, can make a big difference in 1 year. You got pick number 2 or pick number 3. Listen to you guys tossing these names around. As a casual basketball fan, and I use the term casual even lightly, who cares? That's why there's nothing to be excited about.
Well, to be honest, though, I don't think that's entirely correct. It's important to have the number 1 pick in basketball for the what do you call it? The
generational
generational
player.
talent, like for the LeBron James or the Michael Jordan but
Michael
to be honest,
Michael Jordan went 3, by the way.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's a ton of players. Like, like I think Paul Pierce was like number 9. Like Dirk Nowitzki was number 10. You have Steph Curry was like number 7 or something. I mean, Dwayne Wade was like number 6. Like, you just got to know who the right freaking guy is.
Well,
that's the thing. I don't have the confidence that we know
part of the problem, but part of the problem, and we've talked about this before, is that I don't know any of these guys. It used to be that these guys would stick around for a while on the same team. You'd get to know them. I think the lack of excitement is just like, is our future going to be based on a couple of average cats that went to Rutgers that couldn't even make the tournament with 2 top 5 picks? I don't know. So we'll see. If we can trade it and get some picks, maybe get a front court scorer, see what happens with Embiid and George, run it back, and then I think at the end of next year we'll know pretty darn well they're going to have to either blow it up or we found the fountain of youth and we can find our way into the playoffs and make a run.
All right, so the Sports Porch Philadelphia.
I just feel like I got the press talking about the Sixers.
Yeah, that's why I'm moving on. That's why I'm hurrying it up. We're going to get to the funner part of the show.
Yeah.
The Sports Porch Philadelphia. Follow us at Philadelphia Sports Porch on YouTube. If you're watching us there right now, thank you very much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, click notifications. You'll know every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time that Philly is live. You can also follow us on X right now. We've got a great deal of people watching on X at Philly Porch. Thanks, guys. Make sure to hit that follow button. Schwaber's always updating you with polls and asking you questions. And right, you're doing that, Schwaber, right?
I am doing that. It's
okay,
what
good.
I do. It's what I do.
All right. So what I teased earlier, the time is now. We are moving on to page 3. We got a little bit of an issue here. We have some bad athletes in Philly. And currently, we're going to go over the top 5 current worst athletes. Now, Schwaber, when you set this up, what were your qualifications for this?
Well,
before we start to bash people,
yeah. Here's the thing. We let me put it to you this way: there were no qualifications, so you could do it any way you wanted to do it, right? So you could theoretically take Joel Embiid and say he missed 80% of last season, make him the worst athlete. You could do that. Now, I didn't do that. I kind of looked at it and I said, well, he's an MVP. And when he did play, he still averaged like 25 points a game.
So he's not on your list.
He's not on my list, right? But essentially, though, what I did is I went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 5, 4, 3. I kind of picked guys who were just sort of out there, who aren't really that important, but I just think they really suck. And then with the last two, though, I did decide to make them
provocative,
more central figures to what we deal with here in Philadelphia.
And how did you come up with your list of 5, Rube?
I closed my eyes and pointed at the screen.
I can tell by looking at your list.
I actually, I thought about what my criteria would be, and to me, the first thing that came to mind is underperforming their contract, or just underperforming in general based on an afternoon of preparation. Yeah, based on 30 minutes of preparation time to do this. And are these the right 5? I think the majority of my 5 you guys would likely agree, and our audience would disagree or would agree with. But that's part of the fun. Let's do it.
So, in summarization of your qualifications, it was who you were disappointed in the most.
Who underperformed their contract or just underperformed in general.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So we'll start number 5. We'll go to the Grand Schwabini. This is
all right. So I would imagine many people will not know who this is. This is Alexei Kolosov. I felt that there had to be a flyer on this list because they haven't made the playoffs in several years, and the Flyers were dead last in goaltending. And you know what? He was the worst one. He went 5-9-1 last year. He averaged giving up 3.59 goals a game and had a paltry .867 save percentage, whereas like most of the league is over 900. So he was pretty bad last year for a guy who was touted as possibly being something, maybe a potential goaltender one of the future. He was quite dreadful.
All right. And I almost spelled his name right, just making it up. I just looked at
it. You spelled it
so
wrong.
Number 5 for Schwaber, current worst athletes in Philly.
But he doesn't deserve
Alexei
a
Kolosov of the Flyers. I'm not going to give it to him. Number 5 for Rube. Now, I don't have any pictures for Rube, but we sorted this out before the show.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have them in the future when he has an assignment, now that he has time to complete it. Number 5, Rube.
Sean Couturier, once a very proud, effective, productive Flyer. Hate to say it because he's the captain and he has given us a lot of his blood, sweat, and tears, but he's on the downside of his career. He's got a C on his chest, and with the C on your chest, you have to be better. He had as many penalty minutes as he did points last season. I think he had 41 penalty minutes and 45 points. Not good enough for the captain of a proud organization like the Philadelphia Flyers. And oh, by the way, 1 power play goal. Sean Couturier, number 5.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say that it's a bad choice. I think that it's current players, Steve. We're not going Danny Markov from the early 2000s.
Current players.
Yep. Pat off track. He's like pat off track. Yeah.
Right. I did think about Couturier, but then as I looked through the Flyers, I mean, he was like 5th on the team in scoring. So I was kind of like, well, I mean, he did. I mean, like, for example, like Sam Bennett, who is possibly going to win the playoff MVP, had like 5 more points than Sean Couturier this year. Now, true, Sam Bennett scored like 15 goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but like, I don't know. I can't call him one of the 5 worst if he scored 45 points. It's not great, and it's not a C. It's not a captain type of number.
Remember my qualification. Remember my qualification.
I hear you. I can't
underperforming or underperforming.
I can't argue it, but I can understand it.
Okay.
Well, thank God you can understand it. Mm-hmm. All right, number 4 for Mark. Worst athletes currently wearing a Philadelphia uniform.
If you don't know who that is, which I'm gathering many of you don't know who that is Weston Wilson, left fielder of the Philadelphia Phillies. He's got a 194 batting average. He's only had 36 at bats, but he's only had 1 extra base hit and just 4 RBIs. Basically, when he comes up, he is an automatic out. And I would say there's no reason for him to be on the Major League Ball Club.
Now, I do believe the Pirates have shown some interest in him.
And here come the Pirates on the Phillies show again.
There you go. You got to see the background. Anyway, go ahead.
We're going to challenge him into Flitch. No pirate names, talks, or the mention of Paul Skeens during a Philly show until he is a Philly.
It just burns you Philly guys' ass to even say the word Pittsburgh. Anyway, Schwabini, number 4, Weston Wilson. Rube, how do you feel about that?
You just probably feel like he's not important enough.
I don't. He's had 36 at bats, and so what?
Yeah.
Well, I thought he showed some promise last year. I thought he came up and he hit pretty well. I thought he might have had a little something. Could have been a platoon player, but he's showing that he's nothing.
Okay. Well, let's go to mine, and then let's compare.
Number 4 worst athlete in Philadelphia right now. I actually think I like Rube's list better, to be honest with you.
Johan Rojas, who just batted in a run tonight.
So that's the recency effect. Take the recency effect away. Speaking of an out, every time the guy gets up the bat, he can't bunt. Yes, he is a above average center fielder with some decent speed, but the way he hits, he's not a major league player. Get him out of here. Next.
Yeah.
Let's talk about his stats. 228. 1 home run.
Up to 233 at the moment.
Okay. 233, 1 home run. Sorry, it was 14 RBIs, 15 RBI, and a 587 OPS. I'm pretty sure that we could get the technical director into a little training, maybe some healthier eating, cut the hair, shave the beard, and he could hit maybe 1 home run. And
I could do it the way I look right now. I mean, I'm with you.
He's like Kruk. He's got the Kruk thing going.
I think that Johan Rojas would eat your lunch, Klein.
There you go. You're probably right. I am a little older than he is, like maybe 30 years or something. Okay. Number 3 for the Grand Schwabini.
Do you even know who that is, Rube?
Is that the tall guy?
It sure is. That is Johnny Wilson.
Johnny Wilson,
wide receiver on the Eagles.
Did you feel like you had to pick someone from every team?
I tried. So here's the thing about Johnny Wilson. The guy played like every game this year, and he played a lot. And like maybe he was good at blocking. I don't know, but he really did absolutely nothing. He had 5 catches on 15 targets. So, Jalen Hurts was like up there in completion percentage. This guy was 5 for 15. His long was a monumentous 9 yards. And he had 1 touchdown, which I think was probably not intended for him anyway. So he was, I think he's just absolutely terrible. They see a big, tall guy. They start trying to run fade patterns to him. No, he just can't catch. He sucks. Get him off the team.
Harold Carmichael, he is not.
No.
Number 3 for Rube.
Well, I picked another Philadelphia Flyer goalie just because he had more at bats. Sam Ersson, 22, 17, and 5, so tied for 26th in the league.
He had a winning record on a horrible team.
3.14 goals against, 45th, right? So 45th. There's only 30 starting goalies.
Yeah, that's bad.
Although most teams do by committee.
Hold on. 883 save percentage, tied for 49th. 2 shutouts. Our number 1 goalie's got to be much better than that. So Sam Ersson. I actually considered the other goalie, not
the Fedotov.
The Fedotov. He was 6-13 and 4 with a 3.15 and 880. So he was worse, but the guy's only a rookie, so let's give him a chance.
Well, I will say this though. I do not agree though with the Sam Ersson call. I do think Sam Urson has some potential. He actually played very well in the Four Nations tournament.
In those four games. Got it.
Yeah. He played very well. No, and he's continued to play well. He plays a lot of international competition and he plays pretty well. I happen to think
he's awesome against Australia. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, if the Flyers had a better defense, I think his numbers would look a lot better, and I think he can improve. I think he's a starting goaltender in the NHL as a tandem. So I don't think he's terrible. I really don't.
Okay, agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 for the Grand Schwabini.
There he is. Okay,
I knew this one was coming.
So now I'm getting into the people that matter. Aaron Nola. Now, maybe he has been horrible because he's been injured, but still, let's look at this year. He's started 9 games. He's had 3 quality starts. That's 33.3%. His record is 1-7. He's given up 11 home runs, and his ERA is 6.16. I've been saying forever that the bottom line is his best days are behind him. He doesn't have a top-notch fastball, which means if he gets in trouble, he can't blow anybody away. He's basically a nibbler. You know, he is the master of taking an 0-2 count to 3-2. He is the master of that. And you know, he just sucks, man. I mean, look, I'll be happy to say I was wrong if he comes back and pitches great for us in the playoffs this year. Then I'll tip my cap to him. But you know, when Aaron Nola hits the mound, I feel like good things are not going to happen. I feel like the ball is going yard.
First of all, when you say he's a nibbler,
yes,
I'm
like a Marv Albert nibbler, or
no, like a Greg Maddux nibbler,
okay.
or like a Marvel Comics, like the nibbler.
Greg
Maddux.
You just compared Aaron Nola to Greg Maddux.
Yeah, no, Maddux.
How can he be on your worst list?
Yeah, seriously. But
he's nothing like Greg Maddux. He's
Jamie Moyer. He's Jamie Moyer. Got it.
From now on, this picture will always be known as the nibbler.
Yes,
there it is.
I thought I picked a fun picture too. You know,
you
kind
did.
of like he's like
you did. I would half believe that you came up with the name ahead of time based on the picture. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about when baseball pitchers nibble around the corners. You know,
they nibble. About. Yes, they do a lot of nibbling in baseball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Rube, number 2.
Taijuan Walker. So it was between 2 players for number 2.
Comeback year, though, for Taijuan.
Yeah, I think, again, underperforming a massive contract.
That's true.
I mean, it's a carryover from last year. So if we're looking past 12 months, yes. And honestly, he can maybe pitch 1 inning, maybe some long relief. But listen, I get sick to my stomach every time that guy goes on the mound. And a close runner-up, because I didn't put him on my list and I really wanted to. So if it's okay, I'm going to put Jordan Romano on there as well. But I think he may be hurt, so that's why I didn't put him on the list. I want to give the guy, at least a half a season to show me something good, and he's running out of time.
Running out of time, Romano. You are on alert. You are running out of time. Rube, number 2, Taijuan Walker.
Well, Rube, I did not give Jordan Romano the benefit of the doubt. My number 1 is Jordan Romano. Okay. Right now, seen looking at a ball leave the yard. And so let's take a look at Jordan. He's got a 6.84 ERA. His record is 0-3. He does have 8 saves. He has 20 earned runs in 29 innings pitched. He's given up 4 home runs. And I don't know if you guys pay much attention to the WAR stat. If you're really bad at WAR, you're probably like 0.1, 0.3, something like that, right? You never really see anybody negative. Well, guess what? He's negative. He's negative 0.6 on WAR. I think that's obviously pretty bad. So
You think he's?
I mean, look, here's the
You
thing.
think he's
The other
hurt?
thing I'm not crazy about too is like he comes in there, he's like an animal. He's just kind of like, I don't know, he's like some junkyard dog up there, squeezing the ball, at his ankles and kind of like, I don't know. He just looks like a freaking lunatic out there. And he doesn't even throw it like 100 miles per hour. I kind of feel like if you're going to be a lunatic, you should be throwing it 100 miles per hour.
Or you should
know
be,
what I mean?
You should be Mark Fidrich.
I mean, look, he's looked good in spurts,
the Mad Hungarian.
But he's also, he's also had like 4 or 5 like, good save outings in a row, and then he gets shelled for like 6 runs. So I don't know, man.
He is terrible. I can't. It's hard to argue with that one.
Number one from the Grand Schwabini, Jordan Romano.
I'm going to I'm going to take a guess at your number one, and if it's correct, I think it's not worthy. You're going to say Trey Turner, aren't you?
That is incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Number one for Rube?
Absolutely not. Paul George.
Paul George. Okay.
Paul George. Listen, we paid the guy $50 million. Mm-hmm. He played a small number of games. When he did play, he was just awful. So talking about underperforming, again, going back to my criteria, underperforming your contract, I don't think we've ever seen anyone this badly underperform a contract in Philadelphia history. So Paul George, number one.
I looked at the statistics and I didn't think the statistics were that bad. I mean, it was like 16 points a game, like 7 rebounds, 5 assists. It was okay.
Yeah, but is that what you expect out of $50 million?
I mean, you really don't. But
this was the acquisition. This was the signing that was going to put them in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And look where they ended up. See, I like Rube's list this week better because I think Rube was going right at it. He was saying, okay, let's talk about players who are in the spotlight. Let's talk about let's push some hot buttons here, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are disappointed in Paul George's performance, but still are like happier than hell he's a 76er, so like whose buttons can we push? Schwaber, your list was more like, can I find the most indiscriminate player? And like,
well, but you know what though?
Of course, the thing though, they haven't even had the opportunity to play.
You know what? Here was the thing. As I was doing this, I was actually thinking like, wow, like for the most part, like our teams are really good. Like there's not many people to choose from, I mean, now the Sixers.
Well, the winter sports, I think, yeah. I didn't have an Eagle on my list. I really tried to think through one, but I didn't think there was anyone worthy of being on the worst because of the roster top to bottom on a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. You can argue that Johnny Wilson, who is on your list of worst players, like he did play his role. They did win the Super Bowl. So I think you just
not because of Johnny Wilson.
Well, I mean, maybe.
I don't know about that.
What do you know is
you think he sprung Saquon Barkley?
How do you know that one touchdown that he accidentally caught isn't the linchpin that put your whole season together?
Steve brought one. This should have been on the list.
Yeah,
he's not an Eagle anymore. He's not an Eagle anymore.
He's not an Eagle anymore.
No, and no more Pittsburgh people.
You're right.
Get that out of here.
Get out of here with that weak shit.
Get out of here with that.
What's going on
crap? Hey, Leslie Rubenstein liked your Mark Fidrich. She's a Detroit girl.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't he the Mad Hungarian Lemmer? That was his nickname? Fidrich, the Mad Hungarian. I don't know. I don't know. But Schwaber, I mean, anyway. Look, I have faith in you for these lists going forward because I've done many lists with you.
Well, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. This was kind of thrown upon me.
Oh,
but I will concede. I do think that Rube did a better job than me on this list. I am not afraid to admit when somebody has bested me.
There you go.
So Rube, well done.
You were just in over your head.
Myself, keep working. Keep working. You'll get better.
It's a team game. Keep taking those swings.
Yeah.
Keep taking them swings.
All right. In case you were not aware of it, it is mini camp time. Mini camp is over. But it is still, I'm looking for this picture. Here we go. Page 4. There we go. Page 4. Just in case you forgot, the Eagles still won the Super Bowl.
Rube, check out your boy Oren Burks. Look how high he jumped there.
Look at the ups on that. I can't believe we let that guy go. I think that's going to be the downfall of our defense. You got to admit, though, he stepped up and played great ball.
He did. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Look at the ups on that guy. How did we not bring him back?
Yeah, I mean, and that's just I'm a little happy, and he jumps 5 feet in the air. So, yeah, the Eagles still won the Super Bowl. News and notes on minicamp. What direction you want to go in here, Schwaber?
It was really just more like something to give me joy.
All right.
So, I just felt joy for a moment, and wanted to give that to the viewers as well.
You felt Owen Burks. You were channeling Owen Burks in that moment.
No, it wasn't Oren Burks.
Oren Burks.
It wasn't Oren Burks. It was more Cooper DeJean.
Oh, yeah.
The pick, or what do they call him?
The pick, DeJean 6. The pick 6.
The pick 6.
The pick 6.
Yeah. So, I just figured, hey, let's remember we won the Super Bowl. As we get the press talking about the Sixers, as we go through some of the worst contract performances in the history of Philadelphia sports, let's remember we also did win the Super Bowl.
Woohoo!
I think that's
you can keep saying that until the ball's kicked off on week 1.
Yeah, that's true. They're Super Bowl champions. Well, they're actually champions until the final the final second of the next Super Bowl. So you really, you have a full year in which to revel in that joy. So yeah, okay. The Eagles still won the Super Bowl. Everybody remember that. I remember that. Page 5.
I don't think really anything happened though. Did anything happen, Rube?
No.
Recently?
No.
Not of significance. No.
Yeah. No. Things are going to get fired up in about a month. Then it's gonna go crazy. So,
but I do feel good. I do feel better. Thank you, Schwabi.
There you go.
Good. There you go.
We ride a roller coaster on this show too, folks. Just like the Philly season, it is an up and down thing all around. Page 5 is what we're watching. I did this last night for our show. Schwaber, take it away. We only have one tonight. It's yours, so you might as well intro it.
No, Rube had one.
Did he?
Rube had one. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't send the picture, but I know we're running short on time. So, Grand Schwabidi, take it away.
Yep.
Yes. Keep in mind, Rube, there is no time limit. We can do whatever we want.
Do people really want to listen to us any longer than they have to?
Believe it or not, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, especially you, Rube. Especially you.
So this is the part of the show where we give back. We appreciate that you tune in and watch us babble about sports. And in return, we want to do something nice for you. And we understand that, watching TV, it's not a piece of cake, right? You got a lot of things to choose from. So many channels, right? Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Prime Video. There's so much to choose from. What do you do? Well, instead of sitting around and going through a bunch of trailers and spending 45 minutes and saying, I'm too tired, I got to go to bed now, and we watch nothing, we're going to tell you something that we watched and whether it was good or bad. So you can go to your significant other and you can say, hey, Sports Porch guy said thumbs up, and you can know you're in good shape.
All right. That was painful. But
maybe to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't hear it all the time.
We didn't lose a single listener while that happened.
You lost me. I went to a different page.
All right. So Mark has watched
Karate Kid Legends.
I don't know what it is with you and Hockey Jesus and this Karate Kid shit. To me, it's like juvenile. I mean, at our age, at 55, I'm 54. You're 55. I don't
Chris,
know. Rube,
there is a reason why Ralph Macchio is still getting it done.
I guess.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I mean, I haven't watched any of this stuff,
He's
and I
Daniel's
never will.
son. He's Daniel's son.
Whatever. All right, go ahead.
Paint the house.
I know you're giving
Paint
this a
the fence.
thumbs up.
Wash
You
the car.
give it wax on, wax
Paint
off,
the
wax
fence.
on,
Paint
wax
the
off.
fence. It's
That's
a
the only
brilliant.
thing I
it's
ever
brilliant.
learned from the Karate Kid. That was it.
And,
Wax on, wax off.
It's Miyagi-Do.
Yeah. All right.
The main thing here. Look, here's the bottom line. And I think if Steve was still listening, I don't know if he is or isn't, but
he is.
Look, Karate Kid, they do it again. They just do it again. I mean, the Cobra Kai was phenomenal. It was a great show. Recommend everybody watch that. And then here they come again. Hey, let's get Jackie Chan. Let's get Ralph Macchio. They're too old to do it themselves now, but they can be a teacher. They can be a sensei.
Oh God.
And so, they find a kid, and they certainly extended the story on this one. It was like this Jackie Chan was like, part of a family that were friends with the Miyagis and all this kind of stuff. And so this kid comes to New York, and what happens? What happens when you come to New York? You're interested in a good-looking girl. You get bullied, right? So what do you got to do to be able to get the girl? You got to learn karate.
Yeah, and that always worked for me.
And you got to win a big fight in the 4 boroughs, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to train. You're going to have to do the impossible. But you know what? If you believe in Miyagi-Do, it can happen.
The best defense, Grand Schwabini, no be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God,
they always find something different, and they did it again. Fun movie if you like that kind of stuff.
I will go see it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you got one viewer out of it. All right, boys, the Philadelphia Sports Porch. That's it for tonight. Thanks for being here live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Every Tuesday night now. Tuesday night, people, remember that. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Rube time. We will be here, and we drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Follow us on YouTube. If you're watching us there, hit the subscribe button at Philadelphia Sports Porch, and follow us on X at the Philly Porch. For Rube, down in Austin, Texas, the Grand Schwabini, I'm your technical director. I am out.